An army drawn together from different parts sometimes is disposed to mutiny, and the troops, though not inclined to fight, pretend to be angry at not being led against the enemy. Such seditious dispositions principally show themselves in those who have lived in their quarters in idleness and effeminacy. These men, unaccustomed to the necessary fatigue of the field, are disgusted at its severity. Their ignorance of discipline makes them afraid of action and inspires them with insolence. So, you let your... It's one of those dichotomies. That's what it is. If you let your people do whatever they want, they get soft, and then they start to rebel. You want to talk about kids, let your kids do whatever you want, or whatever they want, and see how that works out for you.
Yeah.
Lack of discipline with your kids, you're going to end up with some rebellious kids.
Yes.
Now, am I saying that you need to beat them like a dog into submission? No, I'm not saying that at all. Because you know what that dog is? That dog's crazy. That dog will bite you at some point.
Yep.
Right?
Or somebody else.
Or somebody
both,
else.
Whatever.
Yeah. It's problematic. So you have to find the balance between those two things. He says there's several remedies for this evil. Let them be constantly employed either in the field days or in the inspection of their arms. They should not be allowed to be absent on furlough. They should be frequently called by roll and trained to be exact in observance of every signal. Let them be exercised in the use of the bow, in throwing missile weapons and stones, both with the hand and sling, and with the wooden sword at the post. Let all this be continually repeated, and let them be often kept under arms until they are tired. Let them be exercised in running and leaping to facilitate the passing of ditches. And if their quarters are near the sea or the river, let them all, without exception, be obliged in the summer to have the frequent practice of swimming. Let them be accustomed to march through thickets, enclosures, and broken grounds, to fell trees and to cut out timber, to break ground and to defend a post against their comrades who are in an endeavor to dispossess them. And in the encounter, each party should use their shields to dislodge and bear down their antagonists. All the different kinds of troops, thus trained and exercised in their quarters, will find themselves inspired with emulation for glory and eagerness for action when they come to take the field. In short, a soldier who has proper confidence in his own skill and strength entertains no thought of mutiny. That's awesome. Yeah, these guys were doing force-on-force training. He's saying, look, you're not going to use swords, but you're going to go against each other with your shields and fight for it. And this is something, again, I've answered that question a bunch of times where people, how do you build morale in your team? It's like, make them train hard, make them work hard. Now, the real trick is to make them train hard, make them work hard, but at the same time, what you do is you give them ownership of that training, so they're running the training. Yeah. They come up with the ideas, and you just respect the hardcore training that they're doing, and you do it with them.
Yeah.
You don't just impose. It's different than just imposing on the team, like, we're going to do this hardcore training. That will create a mutiny if you're not careful.
Yeah.
Especially if you're not out there doing it with them, or if you don't explain why it's important.
Yeah. I read this thing. This is to kind of add to that. Well, I think so anyway. What was it? I forgot what it was, but it said, and allow for success. So, like, when you train, you train hard, but allow for success.
For sure.
Because if there's no success, it's like morale goes down after a while or whatever, something like this.
For sure. You can't I just said, you can't beat that dog.
Yeah.
You can't beat that dog.